So hello guys and welcome to our normal Sunday evening racing. It is the turn of the P0 boys this fine Sunday evening and we head to Singapore. It's round 15 in the championship and I will get us a quick rundown of who sits where in the championship. Of course Rob will still holding that championship lead, but Matoman has managed to move himself into second place. There is a 57 point gap, but Matoman managed to overtake, so Rob in 330, Matoman has overtook Matty into P2 on 273, but Matty is in P3 on 272, so absolutely nothing in it. Then we have Shiv in P4, he's on 228, then Dixie P5 on 175, then we have Mika Lando on 145, and then Mick in P7 on 143. We have then Skarma on 113 P8, Leon Evans P9 on 113. Then we have Laverick P10, he's on 90. Then we have Pedro P11 and 75, Arwin P12 and 72. Arwin Evans, he is, P13, he's on 56. Then we have Jock P14 on 50. Then it is Keith P15 on 41, then Brown Dog P16 on 40, Speechy P17 on 37, Rodos P18 on 33, Dales Hunter P19 on 32, and Metcalf P20 on 10. Constructors standing, Ferrari boys been in very, very good form. Looking back to that old Spa race, the gap now at the top, 160 points. I think, in fact, it is. That championship is over. So, or not quite over, in fact, I think they would need... so I think the boys just need 15 points tonight, and they could DNF the last 3 races, and that would absolutely be Constructors Champions for Rob and Dixie. So a big race for Ferrari boys this evening. 15 points between them would see them take the Constructors title. Then we have Matty and Arwin Evans in P2 and the Alpha boys. They're in a bit of a fight. It's just a 41 point gap between P2 and P3. So Alpha and Williams in a battle for that second place in the Constructors Championship with 4 races to go. That is very much on. Then we have McLaren in P4. They're on 269. So they're 45 points behind also. So the gap's very similar. But the McLaren boys have Skarma and Leon not far behind in P5 on 243. Then we have the Alpha Tauri boys of Mika and Pedro, they're on 227. Then the Red Bull boys of Mick and Speechy on 180. Alpine, Jock and Yeri on 106. Then we have Aston Martin boys Laverick and Metcalf on 100. And then the Haas boys of Brown Dog and Rodders on 73. So, that is everything run down for this evening. Let me get the stream up. Let's see what all the boys are saying. Oh, I don't want to hear myself. So here we go. Good evening, Rob and Arwin and Shiv and Speechy and Leon and Mike and Mick and Rob and Adam. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. I hope you are well. It's an absolute pleasure to have you this Sunday evening. And short qualifying ahead, so just the 18-minute session, not like our Thursday where we have the full quali. So critical runs for the guys very much, especially at a track like Singapore. Invalidating a lap comes pretty easily, something you've got to be very careful of. So a nice clean first run matters. And what tyres? Yeah, yes, I agree, Mike. It very much could be sleep inducing, especially Singapore. It is not a track that favours the game for racing at all. The good thing is, these guys are usually that close that one small mistake allows somebody to pounce and do some form of racing, so I dare say we'll see some incidents. And Matt and Matty will be praying that our Ferrari man Rob has a DNF this evening. A PlayStation running at a casual 20 frames a second, you'll love to see it. Does not like that onboard cam at all, but then when I change to the other onboard camera, the frames fix. I don't understand. So Metcalf, our lead driver, he's out in the soft compound tyre. And I think we've got pretty much a 50-50 split, 2, 4, 6, 7, well, it's more like 60-40 in terms of tyre split. 60% of the grid on that soft compound tyre, 40% on the mediums at the moment, but of course just the first runs in the session, so all that could change as we follow Metcalf round, and he'll be one of the first men to open a lap. So let's keep an eye on the sector splits. I think Shiv's going to be the next man round, so we'll go to him to be ready to spectate, and let's watch Metcalf's first sector as he comes through turns 1, 2 and 3. They come at you pretty thick and fast, and he gets away with an invalidation. It was very much over the limits. Coming up to now to turn 4, all over the curb on the inside, then DRS drag up to 5, and the sector 1 marker time. So we'll see roughly where he is. I think it's going to be in the 28s. Oh, it's a 27.3. I am very sorry. So Shiv coming up to sector 1, 27.3 to beat, and he is 3 tenths ahead. We also have a Red Bull not far behind as well. That could be Speechy, and Speechy lighting up the first sector. So we'll go back to Metcalf. He's coming through the technical part of sector 2, so the little flick right, left, then right, then left, then right, and over the bridge we go. Or it's not really a bridge, I think this is where the subway is below, where when the hybrid cars first came here in 2014 and the new electric systems, the underground power cables were wreaking havoc with some of the ECUs in the cars. In fact, I think 2 cars drove over that bridge and just died. There's a fun fact for you. Don't know if anybody will remember that. And Metcalf missed his sector 2 split, so we'll just stay with him. He's going to be the first man as he gets a shed load understeer. So they front tyres very, very hot at this point, just not quite inducing the grip that he would look for. All over the curb on the inside, and he'll pick up an invalidation. He'll be annoyed at that one, but maybe that's deliberate. Maybe he doesn't want to bank the soft lap. Here comes Shiv round the last corner, really committed on the power, and it's a 38 flat. It's a reasonably good soft run there, as Speechy does a 38.7. Let's see, where is our man Skarma? How's he getting on the guts? In fact, he's coming through the last couple of corners now, so we'll stay with it. I think somebody else about to put time on it was Jock and Boundog. Jock goes P3 in a 38.7. But Skarma round the last corner is going to be a very good medium lap. He slots in a 38.2. And I tell you, looking at that lap time, he does not want to be changing the tyre. Dale Sunter in his Williams, where does he go? He goes to P5 in a 40.0. Diddy Thong, I recognise that name. Is that one of the Rush Boys racing this evening? Oh, rain! I just seen some rain, chat. So these laps now matter massively. And Matterman has invalidated his run, so he needs to just go. He cannot afford to wait now. You've got to go. Do not let this medium tyre cool down. Work the tyre hard. Get the temperatures right up, because if you want to run in these conditions, you need that medium tyre switched on. I believe Matterman will have the pace still to get somewhere close to the top 5 on that tyre. And it's a 37.6 now for Matty. A very, very strong medium lap, but Matterman will need to go again on his mediums as the rain starts to fall in qualifying. So I think we'll probably get these runs for everybody that's out, and then the session will die a death. Matt very good over turn 1, taking as much of the curb as he deals, and gets a very nice exit. So let's watch his sector 1 split. If he can be in the 26s in his sector 1, I think he would be a very, very happy boy. And it's a 27.1, so he's pretty much on the pace of what we've seen Shiv set. But can he find time in the middle sector? He's got a bit of traffic ahead as well. The poleman Matty as it stands. Is he going to give him any favours? Of course, championship rivalry is going to get well out of the way as Mataman now heads through Sector 2. And probably the guts of the lap here at Singapore. I feel like this is one of the parts of the circuit where you can win or lose a lot of lap time, as Mataman has a bit of an oversteer moment coming over the bridge and then onto the back straight. DRS open, he has a Williams ahead. I think that could be Dale's Hunter, so we'll be hoping that he gets well out of the way. Nicely on the power. Now heading into the first of a double chicane. A little bit straight ahead. I actually think it's not. So how much does he commit to the inside for that first chicane? My lap was horrendous. Oh, that was you, Shiv. I thought that was... Do it for the rust. I respect it. You should be doing it for the rust lads. And Mataman just having to be a bit momentous there, coming out the last corner. Pretty much matches Adam's time, 38.83, and yeah, at this point I think that lap is probably going to see you through, because the rain coming. Yeah, I think guys will struggle now to improve. Pedro coming into Sector 2, again nicely attacked on the inside curbs. So, Pedro's still on a valid run. Oh, and he picks up the invalidation. Oh, and we go on board the Yeris. He goes deep on the brakes and he's out. He's out. The front tyre is off. And that will be it from Yeri. And he hardly touched the barrier there and it just ripped the wheel clean off. That is crazy. Pedro as well looks like he's going to have to start from further at the back, because the track, of course, is just going to keep getting worse. So... that could be qualifying. Skarma trying to go again on his softs, but yeah, I tell you, you run the risk of not starting the race. Oh, saying that he's banked a lap, but everyone, good man, Kai. You can be here more. Kai, what's your gamer tag? Are you MX or Strategy Gamble? I'm saying nothing, Shiv. I'm saying nothing. Oh, and Skarma there, you see, he's just having to miss the corner. MX, yeah, I thought that. Good lad. When I say it, you tell them not to. Tell them not to what? I am confused. The speech bolted on an intermediate compound, but again, I think drivers now, you run a big risk, right? Because you do not want to DNF. Mika Lando's got a very, very good starting position in P11. But let's see how much, if any, can improve in Sector 1 when you see just way off the pace. Nearly 2 seconds down for our best for Sector. In fact, it's more than 2 seconds off. The track has well and truly went away from the guys, and you see just the brakes not working. And that is it, absolutely over. They're just not going to get a lap in. No, I don't think we would have told them not to, Jock. I would always... we... No. Yeah, I would never, ever, ever... And you see Metcalf on the soft compound tyre, 52.0. Yeah, or maybe we have misunderstood what you said, Jock. Because we would never tell you no, that always we want to like the stream. Metcalf had enough. Dale and Roddle's having a bit of a moment. Or a bit of racing, I should say, in qualifying as Dale. Both guys go very, very deep. So I think qualifying could be over. Although, oh, that's Mika coming in. There is somebody coming out, Pedro, on the intermediate compound, but I think at best here you will, especially with DRS now disabled, you'll just be putting a lap in, I think, to secure that P16. And it was to be P17 because Yeri has invalidated the lap. Oh, crashed out, sorry, invalidated. That's a bit worse than an invalidation. But Pedro maybe going to get a sighter here because we get speech in and out lap as well. So guys want the session time. So Rob retires off from the session. Yeah, soft tyres are just not it at all now. Yeah, just wonder where the race goes in terms of weather now as well. Will the rain continue, or will we see anything different? Because if the rain comes for the race, Chubby Slug is going to be a man to watch. He's been very, very strong in the wet conditions over the course of the season. So definitely going to be a man that we should keep an eye on in slippy conditions. Oh, small touch of the wall there for Rodders. Rear the car just getting a bit squirrely. He's very bold to be out driving in these conditions. Look how little you can get on the power. He's done a hot lap and he's still in 95% energy. He does a 2 minutes 2.6. I think Pedro will be way up in that on the intermediates. And this, you'll just see how much more grip these tyres with tread give you in the wet conditions, just because they're moving the water off that line. When you're on the slicks, you're essentially gliding above the tarmac. The grip is minimalistic. The water creates a barrier between the tyre face and the surface patch, the surface of the tyre and the road. So intermediate tyres allow you just to move that water. It just displaces it as the tyre initially on the front edge of the rotation takes the water away. So just behind that, you're essentially running on much less water, albeit the tyre is only sitting on the ground about the size of a credit card. There's a good fact for these, because you didn't know that. The contact patch for an F1 tyre is about the size of a credit card. There you go. Pedro goes a 153.4. And I think that's his session over. Speechy is just out. Let's see where he would go. It's 54.6 in his intermediate compound, so Pedro's into lap look pretty good. 1 minute 30 left in the session, and it will be Matty on pole. Nobody will improve. Shiv will be P2, Rob Wills 3, Skarma P4, Dixie P5, Chubby Slug P6, Speechy 7, Laverick 8, Jock P9, Mick P10, Mika Lando 11, Dale P12, Brown Dog 13, Diddy 14, Metcalf P15, Pedro P16, Rodders P17, and Yeri P18. And somebody who's that at a moment. Pedro had a little bit of a spin. And he's going to pull in, I think, and just retire at that. Oh, no, I think he is. Just getting out of the way of the guy coming through. Good lad, Pedro. Yeah, don't want to reverse too much, and he is just going to retire from the session at that. Nobody else on track near him, so I think that should be okay. Rodder's still pumping round in these soft compound tyre. Strange. As we get on board with Speechy, who also has had a moment at the hairpin, just over the bridge. So any lap he was on is now over, and Speechy has also retired from the session, so just Rodders to go. Once Rodders retires, if Matty, Laverick and Dale obviously retire also, we will scamper off into the race. So we'll get a look at the weather for the race, and then we will go for a little prediction. He's got to be careful there and turn in, and you see the wing just fragmented, flew over the front wheel. It's actually really quite detailed for the game there. I've seen the wing break in many little pieces, which is unusual, and you see now the understeer that comes with that, as there's a big moment on throttle application also. And it's funny, look, we've seen a lot of fragments coming off the wing, and somehow his wing still looks fully intact. That is Cody's logic. Make it look good, but the wing's still there. Oh, that's ridiculous. I think Rodders is going to, he'll take the flag. Just to end the session dead, when you roll into the pits, for some reason you got to wait yourself getting rolled right into the box, and the curtain will fall on qualifying for P0's round 15 at Singapore. Hope you're all well, guys. Stream very busy. Well, that's what we like to see. Or busy for us, making it sound like we're something spectacular, but that is not the case. But Matty takes that pole position. The man in P2 in the championship. His main championship rivals a little bit down the order as well. Rob Wills P3 and Chubby Slug P6. We've got Shiv P2, Rob 3, Skarma 4, Dixie P5, Chubby Slug 6, Speechy 7, Laverick 8, Jock P9, and Mick rounds out the top 10. For qualifying every day. Outside that, of course, if it is dry, has that free choice of tyre. Those inside the top 10, if it's dry, need to start on the tyre they qualified on. So a little bit of tyre advantage for those outside the top 10 to give them just a little bit of something. I love how Shiv says a strategy gamble due to slowness, and he was P2 or P3. That's impressive. So dry for the start of the race. Let's have a little nosy. It's dry, so it's going to be slick tyres for the lads. Yes, it is. And Mika, Dale, Brown Dog, Metcalf, Pedro, Rodders. Oh. Hard tyre, that you do not want to do that. So if anybody's watching outside that top 10, the hard tyre is not your friend here. But of course, strategy is a personal choice, but I would definitely go for the mediums. Mediums to soft works very, very well. Of course, any conditions that come into play could have a big change. But yeah, starting on that medium tyre is huge. Medium to soft is absolutely fine. The tyre wear will look as if it's grim, but the grip stays very well, and you can churn the laps out at a decent rate of knots for a good amount of laps. You just don't want to be starting on that soft compound tyre. The drop off, when the car's full of fuel here, the drop off is really brutal. You'll see the soft tyres really start to suffer come lap 4 or 5, and the medium tyre really come into play. But that's of course just my opinion, although that's not an opinion on the soft tyre. It does die out very quickly here. In terms of strategy, it's very much opinion based. That's what works for me. But in most races I crash, so don't make much odds. So just a small wait now to the guys finish prepping their strategy. Make sure they're on the right tyres. And changeable conditions in quality, so could that be the situation for the race as well? That's something we could keep an eye on. It could add some drama at some point. Ow, I just pulled a hair out and it really bloody hot. Ow. So, the timer falls at the top of the screen, and our guys will get set for the formulation lap, and I look forward to next year when we see all our drivers have to fill in that grid slot themselves. Of course, overshoot the box, you get a little bit of a, it's probably about half a metre penalty in your grid slot backwards, so you need to be lining up. And off we go. So that's saying 16 lap on the mediums, but can do 20, 21. But as we say, weather might come into play and play a big factor in that, so that then strategy kind of goes out the window. So yeah, so Diddy Thorn, Metcalf, Pedro all opted to go off to the medium compound tyre. Mick Dale, Brown Dog, Rodders and Yerry will all start on the hards. Then we have Speechy, Laverick, Jock and Shiv all inside the top 10. They're on the soft compound tyre, so watch them really start to struggle on the pace front come lap 4 or 5. And watch guys like Rob Wills, Skarma, Dixie and Slug start to put Shiv under pressure. How dare you, Michael? I take it you've seen the rain starting. Well, right, that's qualifying over. I'll come back for the race. Which is pretty much how it was. I just chat bollocks for 15 minutes pretty much. You're good, mate. So good evening, good evening, good evening. Everybody that's joined, guys, please, if you haven't already, just like I said, drop a thumbs up on the video. And if you haven't subbed to the channel, please do. We're on the road to 200. Yes. I thought you were meaning Mato Man, but yes, Mate, yes. Just bringing them down, keeping them nice and close, then wind the pace up near the end of the lap, build your temps. It doesn't really take much to build it. I think people work the tyres, they overwork the tyres a bit on warm-up. Something you can very much do in most tracks within the last 3 or 4 corners, especially when you're the lead car. So let's fall to Yerry. We'll go back to position change because of course that is the thing we like to see for the start. It gives me a good indication to who's gained where. We'll get rid of that. Yerry will take his grid slot. And a nice view from through the halos. He takes his slot. Get another look at the strategy at the bottom of the screen. We'll go to Mate as we line up from afar in the P0 Singapore Grand Prix. We'll have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's all about the start. It's lights out and they are away, and quite a slow start from everybody. There seemed to be a very good reaction from a Mercedes there who get cut off from Shiv very abruptly, and there goes Matoman down the inside. Somebody get punted in the rear. I think that was Skarma. Was that Skarma falling back down the order? Yes it was. I think he was hit from Shiv in the rear. And has Shiv picked up any damage? Let's get on board. I don't think he has it now, so it's Matty from Shiv, Rob Wells 3, Dexy 4, Chubby Slug P5, Jock P6, and his soft compound tire. He's made them up very, very well off the start. We've got Brown Dog up 3 positions as well, Metcalf up 3, Pedro lost a position, in Skarma of course with that early incident with Shiv falling right down the order, and it looked, or maybe it was Skarma into the back of Shiv, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Shiv checked off that early launch from Skarma, but she's very entitled to do it. And then I think it just all got a bit out of shape coming into the braking zone as we head through the technical turn 2. Is Matoman now, as I look at Dixie down into the hairpin. He really thought about having a go there. He feels he's got the pace in hand and he wants to get on with things. Is he going to have a move on Dixie down into this hairpin? He is not just yet, but he's much better through the corner. He takes a big chunk of the hairpin. As Speechy and Jock and Laverick all get a bit clustered up further behind. And who's this fell down the order? That's Dale's Hunter. Let's see Mika now hunting down his teammate P12 and 13 for the Alpha Tauri boys. Pedro now managed to gain 4 positions. He was down 1 5 or 6 corners ago, now he's up 4. So God knows what's going on there. Yeah, he's managed to gain some positions as well. It's Metcalf and Dale now fall to the back of the order, as did Rodders. So Skarma on recovery. I don't think he's got any wing damage, he's not, so he's going to continue on, and he's just been much more committed in the brakes than some drivers. He is on the push, and we'll go to Rob Wills, who's chasing down Shiv. We also have Chubby Slug all over the back of Dixie. Last lap without the DRS, of course. Rob Wills getting down to 3/10, but not enough. Matoman's got the gap a bit closer, but until the DRS is in play, it's pretty hard to get the move done, and Dixie needs to try and pull himself up now into the back of this battle. But here's the thing, Shiv now has he's lost a lot of lap time to Matty. Matty in a very good zone early on in the race, of course, on that medium compound tyre as well. So he is chilling, but very much using the energy. Well, we see Rob try and make a move and Shiv down the back straight. It's not going to come this time around. Further back down the order, we've got Pedro and Brown Dog, and Brown Dog's in the wall. Skarma comes thundering through there, clips the barrier a little bit as well. And Brown Dog, I think, has got some damage, so he's going to be taking an early pit stop. Yeah, the soft tyres in the early phase of the race do not enjoy it, do they? They do not enjoy it at all. And you're seeing, Mike's absolutely right, in fact, you're just seeing that the pace drop-off will be sheer tyre temperatures just struggling to keep them under control, and you just see how delicate Shiv's having to be on corner entry. And I think with DRS enabled, we're going to see Rob get a move done here on Shiv up this first DRS zone out of turn 4. So here we go, on board with our championship leader. Shiv having a big oversteer moment out of 4. And I don't think Rob's actually going to be close enough here. But is Matoman close enough to make a move? And Dixie not this time around. And of course, Dixie doing a big thing in terms of the championship, because that's his teammate championship leader ahead. And one of his championship protagonists, the man in P2 in the championship, Matoman, right behind him. So Dixie and Matt are good lads, but are good friends, and Matoman just swifts his braking a little bit and maybe pick up a little bit of a warning there. But once you're on the racetrack, if you want results, you cannot have friends, you've got to go racing. Dixie somehow still hanging on to this DRS. And the audio, I don't like the audio on the onboard camera, that's terrible. Chubby Slug absolutely on the back of Dixie now. The pace still between these guys still, though, is very good. they're not losing massive amounts of time to Matty, although they probably would like to clear, considering that Matty is on the lead strategy. And we've got an instant there, Diddy Thong. He's in the wall as he falls down the order. Has he had a moment? He's seemingly struggling a little bit understeer. Oversteer, I should say. But let's go back to this battle up front. So I think Rob really needs to think about getting through here. Maybe he's just thinking long term. He's got a 50-point gap in the championship, so doesn't need to stress too much. But I mean, every driver wants to win every race they're in, right? Chubby Slug tried to make the move in Dixie. Dixie defended it off very well. It appeared there nice and late in the brakes and on the higher line. And nobody able to really capitalise on a big opportunity just yet. We've got Skarma all over the back of Mika Lando, but these guys have spent a load of their energy. Mika, of course, on that hard compound tyre. So Skarma just got oodles more grip at the moment. Especially only in lap 4, and I cannot deal with that audio lag, it's brutal. I don't know if you hear that in the stream as well. So let's go back to Chubby Slug. Still chasing Dixie. We've got Rob Wills in the back of Shiv as well. Let's stay with Rob for a little bit. And we can just kind of stay on this 4-car battle as Metcalf picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. I think Skarma did at the same time, pretty much simultaneously as well. And the gap now almost 4 seconds between Matt A and Shiv. So let's see, can Rob get close enough on Shiv here? This is where Shiv really going to start to feel the tyre wear. So Rob now has to capitalise. I think it's good to know when your competitors are going to start to struggle on the tyre. So Rob needs to jump on that now, I think, and try and get through. So he's on the big push. Shiv's trying to defend it off, but you'll see the light flashing. Will it make it commit to a full move? Down the inside he goes at 5, and he gets a nice inside move there. Shiv leaving space pretty fairly as Dixie gets too adventurous on the brakes. I don't know what he was thinking there, and just trying to go into no man's land. I think it's never a place where you can sneak the car up the inside, and the last thing you want to do here is pick up a bit of rear wing damage. It's Chubby Slug now as I look at Dixie from that P5 slot. So starting to heat up now between P2 to P5. These guys want through, and they want through now. And Matoman really starting to push now, and he's got a lot of energy. I think Matoman just needs to go. If an opportunity arises, he needs to try and go through. But Adam's not going to make it easy. They're here to race and race hard. Albeit there's a championship on the line, you still got to race for yourself. And now we have a yellow flag, sector 2. That is Metcalf having another moment. And he falls now down to the back of the grid. Everybody's still in this. Oh, as Metcalf gets disqualified for driving the wrong way. That's pretty unfortunate. I wonder if he was just turning the car round. And now, can Rob break the DRS to give his teammate a bit of respite? Yes, he can, as Laverick gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Jock. And was that for getting into the pits? I wonder. So let's watch this. There goes Chubby Slug, sorry, on Dixie on Shiv. So now he clears, and it's a Ferrari 2-3. And Matoman's going to be looking to get through on this soft compound tyre pretty quickly. Selling somebody out. Mika Lando out in turn 4 now. Full course safety car. Safety car is out. Wow. Wow. As is Metcalf, although Metcalf got disqualified. So what do our drivers do now? Where do they want to go with this one? That is the interesting story. So Mikel Lando, an unfortunate retirement. He drops the car. I think it was on the exit of 4. And we lose him from the race. So as our leader's going to pit. Oh, a little bit of white line crossing there from Matty. Wells. Dixie and Chubby both going for track position. And I think this could be clever. I think this is a good play. I think it's smart. Mick will also go through, as will Pedro and his mediums. They're staying out, so they're going to go for track position also. And now the dynamic of the race changes because our leaders now come out. They're obviously on the hard compound tyre now. They'll try and go to the end, but the pace, the hard tyre just doesn't give lap time. So I even think the guys on the medium will still be able to drive away from these guys on the hards and go for a soft stint at the end. So, has everybody now took their pit stop? I think they have. So let's get the running order on this safety car at lap 7. We've got Dixie from Chubby Slug, Mick 3, Pedro 4, Matty 5, Rodwell 6, Chev P7, Brown Dog 8, Rodders 9, Dale 10, Speechy 11, Jock 12, Laverick P13, Skarma P14, Yeri P15, Diddy Thong P16, Mika Lando of course has DNF, triggering the safety car, and then Metcalf getting disqualified for driving the wrong way. Yeah, I think it's advantage these two, honestly, Mike. I think this is played right into their hands now, especially with these guys. If they can show the pace they had, and obviously they had more because they were in the queue, so if they've got a little bit more pace and they can put that out there now, yeah, I think the medium tyre still get 10 lap of pace better than before the hards would even touch it. We know how good the medium tyre is here. And these guys can probably take this medium to 22, 23. And then go soft to the end, so... yeah. Game on in terms of race, a bit of strategy going to come into play as well. We'll see exactly how it plays out. I will actually give everybody some tyre data now, so we can see who's went where. Chev could be a man to watch. He could take that medium tyre to the end of the race. So, Chev could be a dark horse here. He should be quicker than the guys round about him. Brown Dog, Roddles, Dale are all on a used tyre. They're all on older tyres, so the new tyres, they've got some space. So Chev is in a really good position here. How do you call this, Mike? What's your prediction for this point? Well, I grab the restroom, then I'll see your comment. So I'm back. Matty, his pace did look good early, right? I'm just, the only thing that I'm thinking, Mike, is is how much were these guys getting held back? Chubby Slug, of course, invalidated the second medium run. I expect he would have been up the road a bit. How much were these guys getting held up from Shiv? Maybe their race pace is better. But I do agree, if you look at it in terms of just the data we can go by, Matty, yeah, I think holds a bit of an advantage. But of course, Singapore not an easy place to overtake, so... So, I think this will be the last lap under safety car now. Slam it into the pits. I'm going to grab myself a little drink. Chat, what the hell has happened? Oh, it just went very quiet there, but it was just because we went out of screen. I think I'm going to go for some milk. Some Lando juice. I do like me some milk, chat. That's all I can really talk about at the moment because I was in my kitchen. So, we will find out any moment if safety car's coming in this lap. I'll say any moment, in a few corners time I should say. What you think? You think Chubby and Dixie go to the hards? I don't know, Mike. I think they stretch this medium out and go softs at the end. So safety car is in this lap. And Dixie now controlling the restart. He becomes the pace setter, and it's up to him when he launches the pack. One nice steady pace all the way, and do not launch too early because the safety car needs to be well in the pits. The best thing you can do is just bag right off, let the safety car get away, and then work your restart from there. He's a couple of corners away and he still needs to wait because the safety car's not even in the pits yet. He's going to be too early and he needs to be careful because he's building that speed up all the time here on the back straight. He needs to keep it steady. And now he's launched into the last corner and he just went a bit early there, small bit of twitch, but I think they're going to get out of that one. He gets on energy and we are back racing, so let's keep an eye on these guys on the hard compound tyre because they are going to struggle just a little bit. You see how much Matty misses the apex at one as the medium tyres fire themselves back up just a bit better and they start to scamper off up the road. And here comes Chubby Slug, he's looking at the inside at Adam at turn 4 and Matoman is going to push on through. They'll go on a ERS drag up to turn 5, they'll go side by side, and can Matoman make the move, stick round the outside? They're still side by side as they head into the hairpin. They keep it nice and clean and Matoman does get ahead. So Dixie now comes under a bit of pressure from Mick, but I think he'll be able to hold station, and they're good racing there as Matoman really pushes the limit, clips a little bit of the wall but gets himself going. Marcus Ericsson done Indy, good lad, good stuff. And look at Pedro looking pretty racy in his Alpha Tauri. Did they drink milk and shoot guns, Mike? Oh, and who's that at the moment? That's the Red Bull of Mick. He's hit the wall on the inside. Pedro nearly able to capitalise on that. And just not quite able to get the job done. As Skarner picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. And Dixie and Martoman starting to get themselves up the road. Which is exactly what they needed to be doing. What's happening further back? That's Jerry going into the pits. Has he lost his wing? I think he did. As we get back on board with one of our hard top compound tyre guys, and Matty was a race leader right up until that safety car. Chose to pit, get onto the hard compound tyres nice and early. But of course, still 20 laps to go, so a long way yet in this race. Pedro again looking at the back of Mick, almost a bit of contact here, and here comes Matty up the outside, but Pedro will get on the energy to defend that one off, and there's not much Matty can do. The hard tyre just will not give him the grip to really make a big lunge in the braking zone, so he'll be hoping for another mistake and try and capitalise on that one. But Mick just holding these guys up a little bit. I feel like everybody behind will have a bit more pace, but Mick doing exactly what he needs to do to secure that position. Doesn't care how slow you need to go as long as the drivers stay behind you. But he is having so many moments. The V of that car on, he's nearly away, keeps in check. How is he held that? There's a big oversteer moment, and that allowed Pedro to get through in the inside into turn one. Oh, and he's going to have to give that position up, and then he's got Matty now and he's inside. Here we go, they'll get side by side, and oh, Mick's tyres are absolutely lit up in the rear, and he'll hold it in the inside down into turn four. There's a bit of wheel banging in contact, and now it's the DRS track as here comes Shiv up the inside of Mick. Mick losing out positions, kind of left, right and centre at the moment. He'll try and look back down the inside, but he can't do much now. Shiv shot deep on the brakes, he has to extend track limits a little bit, and oh, I wonder if Mick would argue there that, oh, I get that position if Shiv doesn't extend the limits. Interesting stuff there. Skarner getting all over the back as Rob Wills, now our championship leader, down there in P7 on that hard compound tyre. Just stuck behind that train of cars. And Matterman getting himself up the road. He's got a good chunk of energy. It's probably good that he's holding on to that. He can put up a good defence. See this tyre nice and deep. You're in trouble for tomorrow. Why? Where are we tomorrow? Oh, Brazil. Uh-oh. I don't need to worry because I'm not there this week. Matterman looking nice and tidy. And Pedro and Matty here pretty even on the energy. So we'll watch as they come on this blast up the back straight, because I think Matty will come for the run here and Pedro will go to the inside line and able just to get that car ahead. So Matty now back up to P3 and he will try and chase down Dixie. So Dixie, will he get his elbows out to try and hold on to his strategy? He's got to have his strategy taking priority, because Matty can't score points for him. So let's see how this one plays out between those guys. Matterman doing a good job at the moment, pace very good, out to 3 seconds in the lead. I do not like that audio glitch. It's horrible. Pedro keeping himself in the DRS on Mate as well, which is pretty interesting. Well, I think he's just fell out it now, and he's got Shiver all over the back of him as well. Here comes Shiver and Pedro, DRS open, down the inside he goes. Ah, is that what causes the... It's horrible. Does bad things in my headset. So Dixie now on a bit of a defence job. Few more laps to go in his stint. So here comes Matty on Dixie. Dixie derating, but gets a good exit off the hairpin. Ferrari looked to have some good speed in a straight line and just kind of neutralised any effort. Oh, bear with me 1 second, chat. So, apologies there, chat. So, Mataman. Oh, Matty through. But Mataman's still opening the gap a little bit. That's interesting. Yes, that is a very good statement. The way he's managed to get himself through. But then Rob's got a 57-point gap. So does Rob need to take risk? As long as he keeps scoring good points, he knows that races will come to him. And the good thing is, if you look at the gaps to the leader, Matoman is going to come out in a nice clean pocket of air if he keeps going at this pace, just behind Skarma, and then go on the absolute charge, closing these guys down near the end of the race. And Mataman's still putting up very good pace on this medium compound tyre, so he's doing a good job. And will Dixie allow his teammate through? I think he's a bit far away, Rob, at the moment. As Jock comes into the pits on his medium compound tyre. I don't know if he picked up some damage. We've got a yellow flag, sector 3. Is that Diddy Thong out? No, he's just having to turn the car around. So he gets himself going again. So gap at the front, 3 seconds. Shiv all over the back of Matty here. I did say Shiv could be a driver to watch. And now if these two get in a fight, jackpot for Matoman. Speechy picking up a time penalty for multiple warnings. So, if and when does the team orders come into play? Not at all, and I think Rob is trying to show Dixie that he wants to go. But Dixie's standing his ground. Drama at Ferrari. He's not letting them go just yet. And all the way Rob has lost 3 seconds to Shiv. So absolutely hemorrhaging lap time at the moment. But I think Rob is now going to be in much better position to get the move done here on that. Oh, why did I flick off that? That was silly. Absolutely on the back, his teammate here. And Dixie will not put up much of a fight through. Rob goes up to P4. Well, Dixie keeping his nose in there, and of course Dixie sensibly wanting to not lose a position to any guys behind as well. Because of course, these guys can seal that Constructors' Championship with a win to that tonight. And Dixie picks up his first time penalty for multiple warnings. So on to lap 18 we go. And let's check the leader gap, because I think now, yeah, I think Mataman's going to be nice and clear some of these guys. He'll have to do some overtaking, but he will come through the pack swinging in the closing stages of the race. Gap 1.5 to him and Matty. He's got plenty of energy for that defence, which is smart. Safety car just came at a bit of a poor timing, I would say, to optimise his strategy, but here we are. We've got to make the most of what they can. Oh, and what's this? Who's that round? Diddy Thong, he said another moment in Sector 2. Mika Lando leaves the session easily enough. Watching for the day. It's Chubby Slug. Oh, now this is interesting. Yes, Matty is about to be here, but with absolutely no energy, whereas Matoman has an absolute ton to use in defence. So Matoman just needs to keep it tidy, get out the corners well, and then go from there. And Matoman could be the man really to bring that race alive. And Matoman's tyre management has been very, very good here. As is Dixie, both of these guys really optimising the strategy. They're trying to make it work. This will be a push to the soft compound tyre. And you can probably drag 8 to 10 laps out of that tyre come the end of the race, so they will be very, very quick. And could we see Mataman up to box in the next lap or so? Dixie definitely seems to be having a better job on the tyre wear at the moment. And we have a yellow flag, and is that somebody out? Oh no, it's just Dale having a moment. He's shot the brakes coming up to the little bridge. And Matoman got what he needs in the car to defend Matty off for another DRS one. And all the while, of course, Matoman, for the sake of his championship, this is very clever as well, because he's backing Matty into Shiv, and if Shiv can get through, that's less points for Matty. Matty, of course, right behind him in the championship, as Dixie picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings, and somehow Matoman keeping them down. So Matoman is going to go for 1 or 2 more laps. Just got to be careful, he's just a bit aggressive on the exit, the last corner. He's been pretty much sliding the rear of the car through there for the full race. So Matoman needs to defend this now, not just let him through, defend off the inside line. He is going to try and cover that off. Matty will though try and force that, and Matoman keeps his car on that outside line, and very, very good defence there, and keeping Matty behind him for this lap is huge. We'll probably see Matoman go into the pits here, or the next lap, if he feels he can hold him off, because of course the more he keeps him behind, the more Matty needs to strain and push and burn up that ERS. So here we go, the drag race, and Matty trying to position his car on that inside line, but look at Chubby Slug, he's going to hold it again on the inside, force Matty into that outside line. Chubby Slug will get the better exit, and he will be well ahead, and Matty will need to just get out of that, because you cannot pull the car through on that high line. And very, very good defensive driving there from Chubby Slug, holding Matty behind. Now will we see Matoman jump into the pits this lap, or is he going to go for one more and maximise the push to the end? He is going one more, he's feeling it, he feels he can hold Matty behind for another lap. So here we go, Matoman will hold it, but I think Matty will go through into turn 1 this time. That little moment, that time through the first corner, hurt Matthew just a little bit, but he is still very much in this. And could he just retaliate up to turn 4 here? Because Matty has no energy. Matoman on the push, he's going to try and close the distance. He shows him the feint, but not quite there this time around. Touches the wall a little bit on the outside, trying to open the track. Limits that much for good measure. So Matoman will box this lap. And then it's the big push to the end. Steady Thong gets out the way there. Matoman still got DRS. And let's look at this leader gap. So at this point Matoman is going to clear Pedro, and then he will clear Laverick very, very quickly, and then go on to some very clean air and start closing down the pack. Watch him be very, very pacey on his return. So in he goes to the pits, tucks it up nicely, careful not to get a penalty, don't get done for speeding in the pits as well. And he did not. So Dixie also in the pits. This again, and he's pulled up to the pit limiter line too early, and then has he got himself a penalty? He did not. So into the box they go, and while they get out ahead of Pedro, not quite, Pedro will go through, as will Mick, but now so big push now for Matoman. Let's get it back to interval, and a monumental stint coming up here. For these guys up front. So the battle between Rob Wills and Shiv now is well and truly on. Shiv's tyres, of course, will be dying off as well. And remember, Laverick, Speechy, Skarma, Shiv, they're all going to have to pit again. So Chubby Slug just needs to get through Mick, and he's right back in this, so there is still a lot to go. Will Skarma drag the tyre out to the end? He might. And Mato Man is absolutely flying. The pace he is showing at the moment is pretty nuts. Lighting up those sectors. He's got a lot of cars in range. So he needs to get clinical now, does Mato Man. Let's go to this gap up front. Are we going to see Rob making a move and Shiv? No, we are not. So we'll go back to Mato Man, because he is going to steam through here on Mick. And don't pick up any damage, Matt. You do not want to do that. And Mick not going to put up too much of a fight. He'll allow Matt the racing line and just gets out it. So through he goes. Now Pedro ahead. And this will be nice if he just gets a bit of clean air, catches the driver at DRS zone, gets through, clean air, catch him at the DRS zone, get through. This could play very nicely into Mato Man's favour. And look at that for an exit off the hairpin, and the soft tyre will just breeze through on Pedro. Pedro not really putting on much of a fight either, his soft tyre on the end of its stint. And Rob Wills all over the back of Shiv, so when will Shiv go to the pits? It'll be a monumental task for Shiv to try and take this tyre to the end, and of course, if he starts to hold Rob up, these guys really come into play here further back. So Speechy going in, Laverick staying out. So Chubby Slug, once he clears Laverick, he's going to have a bit of clean air to work with. Setting the fastest lap of the race in a 39.1. That is monumentally faster than the last fastest lap. And look, Rob Wills going through and Shiv up in the inside to turn 4. Shiv trying to hold on to it. Rob squeezes him out. Shiv will try and keep his nose in, but Rob goes through. Into turn 5. And the charging Mataman did the thing, letting his teammate go through nicely there, not causing too much grief for him. And Mataman, I think, is going to attack Laverick round this next straight. Oh, a bit of dirty air there, just costing him a bit of time, so maybe not just yet. His job picks up a time penalty for multiple warning. Yeah, but I think that's where it was anyway. So I think at best case scenario, yeah, I think it still works out roughly what it would have been for that. Because he's definitely catching Shiv and Skarma. Oh, 6 laps. That'll be interesting. But he's absolutely eating that gap away. The gap between Shiv and Rob is kind of teetering on the DRS zone, but Rob has just got through, so Chubby Slug is kind of the man to be watching. He's on the charge. I tell you, Laverick, Shiv and Skarma. I think Skarma will be pretty comfortable on the medium to the end. But Shiv's pace drop off will come, and when it does come, it will be brutal. Oh, careful there, Mato Man. So I'll leave it this chap. Bear with me 1 second. So, Matoman almost at that DRS range of Skarma. In fact, I think he will be in range come the back straight to turn 5. And we have a yellow flag, but no DNF. We're only a couple of laps out for that safety car window. And here comes Matoman. He's going to send it down the inside. He is on a much better tyre than Skarma. Good bit of racing there. Skarma will try and keep it in, but Matoman just get the better grip. And through he goes, and that's off compound tyre. It's a good move. Now how much pace has he got? Five laps, 9 seconds. He would need a couple of seconds on Shiv every lap, but the way that time is coming down, that is very, very possible. So do not count Matt out of this podium just yet. Gap that lap down 2 seconds, just what he needs. Just needs to keep pumping in these lap times, and this could come to him. Shiv is going to be getting pretty critical in the wear. Gap down to 7.5 between Shiv and Matoman. Oh, Speechy, oh, he's just into the pits. That's for a wing change, the fresh set of soft tyres. And as it stands, well, Pedro, I think, driver of the day. Just over a solid race, kept himself at a baller. He was right on the thicket, got himself up to a good position. And then I think he's on a 3-stop. No, he's on the 2-stop. But the second man on track on the 2-stop making it work, although Skarma has recovered very well. Maybe Skarma actually gets the driver of the day shout, honestly. His Jock sits the fastest lap of the race. And Chubby Slug get that gap down. It is down another couple of seconds. It was 8 seconds at the start of the last lap. It's going to be below 6. They're on to lap 28, so Matoman is setting the pace he needs to close down Shiv. Apologies, guys. Might get that gap down to 5 seconds. Oh, but let's look at Dixie. He's all over the back of Laverick and some action coming up. Dixie trying to get himself back inside the top 6. And here he comes to the inside. He goes down the inside, gets the job done. And Dixie back inside the top 6. Can he close into Skarma in time? That would be interesting there. Chubby Slug with 3 to go has got that gap to 4 seconds. Oh no! And Mataman's picked up a time penalty at turn 2, and that just might put the podium out of grasp. He'll keep pushing on though to see if he gets that gap down as Laverick goes into the pits. From his tyre, 22 laps done, and I tell you, Shiv is going to be at absolute critical tyre wear at this point. Let's go on board though, we're race leader. And I think, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think Shiv, and he's got to run his strategy, and he really did make it work. He put up a stout defence in that soft tyre, but that is what has absolutely spent those guys behind strategy. So on to lap 30 we go, 2 laps to go. Mataman got it down. 2.2 seconds, so I think he would close Shiv down. Of course, he needs to keep pushing on because there is that chance that Shiv gets into puncture territory. Dixie got the gap down to 4 seconds to Skarm as well, so he's took a monumental chunk of time out of Paul. Dixie could still eye a top 5 here. As Mataman now gets the gap down to 1.7. It's 2.7 out at front though. Matty absolutely chilling. He's drove a very good race in the Williams. And I think for Chubby Slug and Dixie, I definitely think it was the early stint. And there's that rain. Oh my god. It started raining on the closing laps of the race. Now, those guys on high tyre wear will be praying that this does not come with any purchase, or they could be in a world of pain. Matty into the last sector. We see the drizzle has become. I never even thought we would see this sight of rain in the race at this point, but it's starting to come as well, so they will be hoping that it does not come with any force in this closing lap as Matty gets a little bit of DRS to help out, and Chubby Slug will be in range of Shiv on the last lap of the race, so he would have been able to recover what looks to be a podium. He'll close right up to Shiv in these couple of corners here, and then probably get through up on the run to turn 4. Now he should go through it, because if the rain comes hard in this last lap, Shiv's on a very, very old tyre, so there is opportunity ahead. Dixie got the gap down to 1.8 seconds between Paul as well, so very much on for him as Mataman now tries to close, and Shiv is on the much better tyre. The closing speed is monumental, and oh, he chooses just to back out a bit. He'll roll the car round the long way. Shiv will close that out. Mataman will say, I'm just going to keep the car there because you put me on the outside of the track. A little bit of wheel banging. Mataman gets on the power and holds it out. And he's got to be careful there. Mataman getting on the throttle under the energy. Oh well, the energy is on as Dixie's got the gap now to Skarma down to 1.7 seconds, although he will get through on the time penalties, and he has the gap to P7 is in Pedro, so Dixie will get P5 in the end. But let's go to our race leader. It's been Matty as he comes under the bridge for the last time this evening. And he's done very well since the safety car. Pace very, very strong on that hard compound tyre on the restart. Good mention for Chubby Slug and Dixie, all those guys that made the one stop medium to soft. I think Shiv was one of those lads as well. Making that work is a monumental effort as Chubby Slug is all over the back at Shiv. But Shiv will hold off. Chubby Slug, Matty wins though in Singapore. Our championship leader Rob comes home in P2. It was Shiv, P3. Chubby Slug has a big moment out of the last corner. Comes home in P4, and I think he'll be kicking himself a little bit because that was maybe a podium that got away from him. Skarma will lose that P5 to Dixie, and Dixie's still going to push to try and get it. The line is a big moment, but Dixie gets P5, Skarma down to P6. Can Pedro steal P6? Yes, he does. Skarma down to 7. Mick will come home in P8. Laverick P9, Brown Dog 10, Speechy P11, Jock P12, although Speechy and Brown Dog have a bit of penalties to dispute come the end. It's 6 and 3, so Speechy will hold P11 with Brown Dog P10. Jock 12, Dale 13, Rodders P14, Yeri P15 and Diddy Thong P16. So, let's get our top 3 in for a little chat. Matty, Rob and Shiv. But big ups to Shiv, to Masterman and to Dixie on the hard but bold strategy, and it does work. You can make it work. They've done a very, very good job. Rob, and where is Matty? Matty, one sec guys. Gonna quit the fucking crying. What do you mean no? What is going on? Stop crying. You're not getting a tap on the moment. No charging your tablet, lie down. Do not give me that temper. Do you understand? Right, chill. No more cries. Mason, stop. We're just going to finish my comms. I'll literally be 5 minutes and I'll see him again. So apologies for the little delay, chat. My son was having a bit of a moment in the bedroom. Mute your mic, Chris. Ah, did you hear my Missy shouting? Yeah, he's doing a silly cry. So, good evening gentlemen. Do we have everybody with us? Yes, we do. So we'll start with yourself, Matty. Good evening.
Good evening.
A good solid result there for you tonight. You looked kind of the pacey guy through qualifying and the race. Safety car came at a time where, yeah, I think it was quite a safe call to go into the hard compound tyre. You kept a very good pace on the restart, and I think that played right into your strategy. I think Shiv's done a blinder today. We'll get to him in a minute, but I think he changed the race for so many people there, but made a result out of it for himself that I don't think he'll care, and rightly so because he's got to be in it. But from your standpoint, Matty, a very good day in the office.
Yeah, it was a very good day. I mean, the rapid quali, I was surprised at the gap, to be fair. But I feel like a few people made a few mistakes because there were only time to get one run in, really, wasn't there?
Yeah, with the weather.
Yeah, the only chance to get one lap in. I mean, the race, I was gutted when the safety car come out, to be fair, because I think I had 3 or 4 second gap to Rob. And when we pitted and they came out to traffic, I did fear that we'd be stuck behind them for a lot longer than we actually were.
Yeah. But in the
But
end,
luckily,
you clear. As I say, you've got the hard tyre fired up very well. The rain that came at the end, Matty, was there any threat of that coming earlier than it did?
it was saying 10 to 15 minutes for a good while, to be fair.
So it probably came a bit later than expected. Obviously,
Yeah,
nice and late for you, ideal scenario, because I think another lap or two of that and some of the guys on the older tyres could have been in a really, really difficult position.
yeah, I don't know about Rob, but at the end I didn't feel like the conditions had changed with the rain. I don't think it's set in time.
Right, so you maybe felt that there was a good few laps still to go before the track was really going to go in any changeover.
Yeah.
Oh well, still though, Matty, the pace, very, very good today. Yeah, you closed down Rob just a little bit. I think you take back over Matterman in the championship as well. There's only 1 point between you getting into tonight. So, a very, very good day.
Yeah, it was. Cheers, mate.
No worries. Rob,
Good evening.
good evening. A pretty methodically driven and no risk taking, knowing the championship's on the line kind of drive this evening. Does that kind of sum it up?
Yeah, it's one of them tracks that you can quite easily be DNF with one small mistake. So, but I quite like the track. But Matty was just too quick. Well, I say it was too quick. We were too equally matched. When I finally got past Shiver End, I think for 6 laps, the gap moved from 2.8 to 3 to 2.8 to 3, just constantly.
Yeah.
So second were probably best I were going to get. I didn't get through traffic quick enough in the earlier phases. I struggled just making my way through. Me and Adam were a little bit out of sync. He thought he was letting me through. I think he cost me about 5 seconds, but that's by the by. I still got through to second. I've only lost 5 points to Matty. So if I get out of Japan, if I'm turn up next week, still within 40 points ahead, I'm happy going into the last 2 races because I quite like Mexico, and then it's just down to a 1 race shootout at Brazil.
Yeah, and of course, I think tonight as well, you's pretty much, that's the constructors over with a second and a fifth. I think the gap goes to about 170 points, which is too much. Even if you's DNF the last 3, I still think it's absolutely out of touching distance. So I think that's pretty much a championship, or one side of the championship sealed up. So you don't need to think about that as much now.
Yeah, and having had a bad race at Italy and not being on the podium the race before, I can't remember where it was. It's just nice just to get back into a settled, incident-free, besides turn 1 where just something happened, decent drive, and just get back into second, and just, if I follow Matty or Matterman for the rest of the season, I know I'm alright, so there's no need to take silly risks.
Yeah, and that's
or do
certainly how it
anything
looked.
daft.
That's how it looked in the first stint, because I felt there was probably opportunities where you could have cleared Shiv earlier, but it would have been a kind of 60-40, 50-50 move, and you just didn't look interested in taking that kind of risk. You would of course go through if the opportunity arisen and it was clear cut, but Shiv never really gave that opportunity.
Oh yeah, there's no way we're going to send a half-hearted 50-50 move because I've got more to lose than gain out of. End of the day, if I'd have finished third behind him, I'd lost 4 points.
Yeah.
So to gain 4 points to possibly lose 21, there's just no point sending it on anybody this late in season. Race 2, fine, you might do, but not race 18 or whatever it is.
You sound like a champion. I don't
Well,
mean to jinx anything.
In a couple of weeks' time, I may be missing Japan. I may be away next Sunday, but I don't know for definite. So that could make things very, very interesting going into the last 2 races.
Well, we look forward to seeing.
I like Japan.
I agree. I hope he miss it in terms of because I'm a spectator for P0, right? And the closer the championship battle into the last two, then the better. Sorry, Rob.
No, I completely understand. And to be quite honest, it'd be nice to have a last race shootout anyway. Winner takes all.
A nice, entertaining ending to the championships because it's been a good, clean fight. I think we could say right up until now. So I'm pretty sure it'll end the same way. But good day today, Rob. As you say, no risk taking, damage limitation, and as you say, you just need to keep following Matty or Matt home, and that's all you really need to do. If the race win comes, good, great, but if not, there's no real need to take risk.
No, there isn't, none at all.
So very good job on the P2 today, sir.
Thank you.
Shiv?
Hello.
You put yourself... I mentioned 3 drivers at the end of the race, yourself, Matoman and Dixie, because you've done the bold strategy. You've one stop to soft to medium. Right? You just done it alternately. You went soft to medium, they went medium to soft. Now the strategy does work.
I had the benefit of a safety car when I did my stop as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it went against the other guys, and it goes against your stint, because if there's no safety car, when these guys box for the one stop to hards, they usually have traffic to clear. But because the safety car came and neutralised all the deltas, it allowed them to just lose the track position to the guys that were close. So that kind of blew the strategy up and meant that yourself, Dixie and Matt had to drive with your elbows out just a little bit in the tail end of your 2 stints, but it made it very entertaining. You were under pressure, but your defensive driving on show today was tremendous.
No, thank you. The battle with Mattoman on the last lap, I know he had a penalty. I pick up 2 warnings on the very first lap, and I had to drive the whole race perfectly. But yeah, the battle with Mattoman on the last lap, that was really good fun. There's nothing I could do. Once my medium started really going off, Matty was pulling away, Rob came by, and it was just a case of looking at the clock, how many laps are left, when's the rain coming, Mattoman's catching, he's catching, when's he going to strike?
Yeah. But of course,
I wasn't planning a one-stopper, if I'm honest.
You managed.
I hate that track. I was just hoping for the best.
And for you, it worked. We would say.
Yeah,
I think it got to a stage. I think it was
well. It got to a stage. I think it was lap 23, and there was rain forecast, and it was a case of, do I pit now, lose a hell of a lot of track position when I know Matty and Rob will stick up them hards on, and then when Inters comes, they can go straight on them, or do I try and leave it out? And so I decided about lap 23, 24, actually, you know what, tyre wear isn't that high as I was expecting. On the mediums, the softs are awful. So I got it till the end.
So, in the end, another podium in the season. You keep yourself in touching distance, so that top 3 as well, you know, one of these guys falter and you can definitely strike in the last couple of races, which I think is got to be your main aim, you know, coming into the last few races.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I really like Japan, I really like Brazil. Mexico, not so much, so.
So there's a nice mix of drivers in the top 4, kind of liking and not liking tracks coming up, so that could add a dynamic that makes it very, very interesting.
I don't like Mexico either, and I believe Rob does.
Oh, game on.
Maybe wrong.
It's quite a wheel track, isn't it, I suppose.
Yes.
The S section and final sectors very much wheel oriented. And tyre wear's quite high, so it can favour wheel users. Japan, I despise with an undying passion.
That's just because the Cubs want to kill everybody.
It's just a horrible track, let's be honest.
Yeah, should be laser scanned, but we'll not get into that debate.
Oh, can I just do a quick shout out, Chris, to Sion Arwin and the rest of the Bala boys who are watching us in Paris?
Oh, you certainly can. Good evening, Mr.
Thank
Parisman.
Hello, Madrid.
Madrid. Oof. Oh, I see what you... Oh, right, I get it.
Yeah, they've probably switched off by now, but just in case.
Nah, you can always tell them to look back and they'll see it at the end. So very good job to Matty, to Rob and to yourself, Shiv. Driver of the day today. I think it would have been Pedro, honestly. The back of the grid, finished P6. Like a solid old
Good
drive,
going.
P6 and a 2-stop as well. So, yeah, and he went medium, soft, medium, which is quite unorthodox in the 2-stop, but it seemed to work for him. So, yeah, I think for the back of the grid to P6 is worth commending for sure.
Well done, Pedro.
So, on that note, that is us, and we will be back with OTL Sprint at Brazil.
Ooh.
So that will be very entertaining. So until tomorrow, we shall see you then.